You can see your face in the mirror. You can watch your hand move. You can even catch yourself thinking a thought. But here's the question that breaks everything. Can you see yourself seeing? Try it right now. Notice that you're aware of these words. Now try to catch the thing that's doing the noticing. Where is it? What does it look like? The moment you try to find it, something strange happens. You're already split into two. There's the you trying to look and the you being looked at. But which one is real? This isn't about meditation tricks or spiritual practices. This is about recognizing something that's been true your whole life, hiding in plain sight. Before we continue, if you're ready to break free from the repeating patterns that hold you back, check out my free guide, 5 Inner Blocks That Keep You from Deep Spiritual Growth. The link is waiting for you in the top comment below. Let's start with something simple. Look at your reflection in a mirror, or just imagine you're looking at your reflection. You see a face staring back, your eyes, your expression, everything you recognize as you. But here's what's actually happening. Light bounces off your face, hits the glass, enters your eyes, gets processed by your brain, and creates an image in your mind. So where are you in all of this? Are you the face in the mirror? Are you the eyes doing the seeing? Are you somewhere behind those eyes, watching the whole thing happen? Most people would say yes to the last one. It feels like there's a you inside your head, looking out through your eyes like windows. A little observer sitting in a control room, watching life unfold on screens. But if you actually search for that observer, you'll never find it. Close your eyes for a second. Where's the watcher now? You might say it's still there, noticing the darkness, aware of your breathing. Fair enough, but can you find where it's located? Is it behind your forehead? In the center of your skull? Floating somewhere in your chest? The more you look, the more it slips away, because every time you try to pin it down, you're using the mind to search for itself. It's like trying to bite your own teeth. The tool you're using is the thing you're looking for. Here's where it gets interesting. Your brain desperately wants to find a control center, a headquarters where decisions get made, where you live. Scientists have looked for this too, scanning brains, mapping neurons, trying to locate the self. They found networks and processes and electrical signals, but no central you pulling the levers. But this isn't a paradox to solve. This is reality showing you something about its nature. The separation between the one watching and the thing being watched only exists in language. When you say, I see the tree, you're creating a split that isn't actually there in your experience. Think about it. When you look at the tree, is there really a gap between your awareness and the image of the tree? Or do they arise together instantly as one seamless experience? The seeing and the seen happen at the same time, in the same moment. There is no distinction between them. You can test this with anything. Right now, notice a sound, any sound. The moment you hear it, is there a you over here and the sound over there? Or is it just hearing happening? No gap, no separation. just the experience itself, whole and complete. The discomfort comes from trying to hold both positions at once, trying to be the watcher and the watched simultaneously. Your mind wants to create that distance because that's what minds do. They divide, categorize, separate. But the actual experience refuses to cooperate. Reality doesn't negotiate, it simply is, and that division is imagined. Go back to the mirror for a moment. When you look at your reflection, the image doesn't exist separately from your awareness of it. Think about that. The reflection appears because you're aware. Your awareness and the reflection arise together. They are not two different things meeting in the middle. This is true for everything you experience. A thought about yourself isn't a separate you thinking about another you. It's just awareness taking the shape of a thought. The thought appears in awareness, made of awareness, known by awareness. There is no gap anywhere. You might be thinking, but I can step back and watch my thoughts. That proves there is me doing the watching. Try it right now. Notice a thought, any thought. Now notice that you're noticing it. See? There's a watcher, right? Not quite. What you're actually doing is having another thought. The thought, I am watching my thoughts. That's just awareness appearing as an idea of watching. It's all one continuous flow, like water taking different shapes but never becoming separate from itself. The discomfort you feel when you try to grasp this comes from the mind trying to maintain its favorite story, the story of separation. The mind says, there is me in here and a world out there. It has to say this. That's its job. It creates boundaries, makes distinctions, builds identities. But reality doesn't work that way. In your direct experience right now, there is no actual boundary between inside and outside. The sound you hear isn't outside your awareness. The thought you think isn't inside some separate container called you. Everything is appearing in the same space, or more accurately, as the same space. Look at your hand, move your fingers. Where does the sensation of movement happen? You might say it happens in your hand, but you only know your hand through sensation. The sensation and the knowing of it are simultaneous. They are not two events. They're one event that language splits into pieces. This recognition doesn't require belief or practice. It's not something you achieve. It's something you notice that's always been true. The seeing and the seen were never actually separate. You just believed they were because everyone else seems to believe it too. When you really see this, not think about it, but see it directly, something relaxes. The constant effort to be someone watching life from a distance drops away. Not because you make it drop, but because you realize that there was never anyone separate to begin with. The thoughts still come, the emotions still move through, the world still appears, but the sense of being trapped inside a separate self, looking out at everything else, begins to dissolve. What remains is just this experience happening, without anyone claiming ownership of it. So what changes when you stop looking for the split? Everything and nothing. The search for a separate self is what creates the problem, not the solution. You've been trying to find yourself, improve yourself, understand yourself. But what if there's no fixed self to find? What if the very act of searching is what keeps the illusion alive? When this becomes clear, you don't become less human. You don't float away into some detached state. You simply stop fighting what's already true. The emotions still happen: sadness, joy, frustration, peace. But they're no longer happening to someone, they're just happening. This might sound like a small shift, but it changes how you move through the world. When someone criticizes you, you hear it, but you don't take it as an attack on a separate self that needs defending. When you succeed at something, you feel the satisfaction, but you don't turn it into a story about who you are. You stop trying to maintain the boundary between observer and observed because you see it was never there. The observer and the observed were never two things trying to become one. They're one thing that language temporarily splits apart. The search itself was the problem. All the efforts to find yourself, to understand yourself, to improve yourself, it was based on the assumption that there is a separate you to find. But when you see there is no fixed self to locate, the searching stops. Not because you solved the riddle, but because you realized there was nothing to solve. Life still brings challenges, questions you can't answer, moments of uncertainty, but the deeper question, who am I, loses its urgency, not because you found the answer, but because you see the question was built on a false premise. There was never a fixed, separate you to find. Before we wrap up, if you found this helpful and want to go deeper, remember that free download I mentioned, 5 inner blocks that keep you from deep spiritual growth. The link is waiting for you in the top comment below. You can't see yourself seeing because the one looking and the thing being looked at are the same. This paradox dissolves when you stop trying to solve it. This isn't something you can fully grasp by thinking about it, but you can notice it right now in your direct experience. The next time you look in a mirror, ask yourself, where is the distinction between the one looking and what's being seen? You won't find it, and in that moment of not finding, something becomes clear, not as knowledge, but as recognition. The observer and the observed were never two. There was always just this, one seamless experience.